Strong winds, lightning, and rain dominated the afternoon in the Tennessee Valley, leading our meteorologists to declare today a Fox 54 weather impact alert day. We've had a confirmed tornado warning in North Alabama, and if you look now atop Montesano, all seems clear and quiet, at least for now. We're starting to see things calm down a bit. Joining us tonight is Fox 54 weather impact meteorologist Emily Owen, who has been on top of this. Emily, lots of storm activity to start our weekend less than 20 minutes ago, and we're still under a severe thunderstorm watch.
Yeah, that is exactly correct. But I feel confident enough to say that I think the severity level is going to continue to decrease through the rest of this evening. The strongest part of these storms has moved into extreme northwestern Georgia, but we are starting to see a little bit of redevelopment back behind that main line, but we'll continue to watch this. I'm not expecting this to turn into severe weather, but some damaging wind gusts and some very heavy rainfall could be embedded within those particular storms that do develop. There were flood warnings issued earlier in Memphis from those rain showers that we're going to eventually see, so we'll have to watch for that. We're continuing to ride along that frontal boundary. It will move eastward eventually. Our severe weather risk will continue, I think, to decrease throughout the rest of this evening. So here's what we were dealing with earlier. Like Kenesha mentioned, we had a radar confirmed tornado warning earlier. That's why we broke into programming. And of course, all of that nasty weather has moved into Georgia. So Tennessee Valley no longer seeing any active warnings. We do have a lot of power outages. We'll continue to see those come in. We've got about 6,000 customers here in Huntsville or Madison County without power at the moment. And we still got this severe thunderstorm watch that's going to be in effect until 7 o'clock. They may allow areas to the western side to be dropped from this early. We'll continue to have to watch to see how that secondary rain starts to develop. So coming up later on in the show, I'm going to time out the rain for you that we could see through the rest of this evening. And we're also going to have to watch for heat heading into the rest of this week. So I'll have the details on that in just a bit. Kenesha.
Yes, thank you, Emily. And she just alluded to it. A power outage is now affecting thousands of customers in parts of Madison County. The Huntsville Utilities outage map shows 102 active outages with a total of a little more than 6,300 customers without power as of 5:15 p.m. Huntsville Utilities has not provided an estimated time for restoration. If you need to report a power outage, call 256-535-4448. For more weather impact coverage along with 24/7 radar, check out our live stream right here on the Fox 54 app. The city of Madison just minutes away from beginning its council meeting, where a vote on short-term rental regulations could impact the future of neighborhoods citywide. The vote, zoning ordinances allowing short-term rentals within city limits. But some residents say they aren't happy with the proposed change. Fox 54's Gabe Glassman joins us live from Madison City Hall. Gabe, what can you tell us about that pushback from some local residents?
Yeah, Kenesha, hundreds of residents have voiced their concerns over short-term rentals here in Madison. Those opposed are citing rising housing costs potentially and the potential for public safety concerns from this. So far, more than 600 people have signed a petition calling for restrictions to be placed on short-term rentals in Madison. I spoke to one resident, Richard George, who says he's concerned for public safety, not just for him and his family, but for other families in his neighborhood. George says he's not fully opposed to rental properties, but not in residential neighborhoods like his own. And he says he's going into tonight's meeting concerned.
I think they have got some more work to do on the council. And, you know, there's an awful lot of growth, a lot of investment coming into this community, and hotels, apartments, you know, like that would be better suited for a short-term rental.
Like George, many residents are expected to publicly voice their concerns at tonight's city council meeting, which begins at 6 p.m. Live in Madison, Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
Thank you, Gabe. City documents obtained by Fox 54 reveal that if approved, the maximum number of permits issued by the city cannot exceed 190. We'll have the result of tonight's vote for tonight on Fox 54 News at 9. A public hearing tomorrow in Fort Payne set to gather feedback regarding zoning and guidelines for data centers. This comes after the Fort Payne City Council approved a 6-month moratorium on data centers within city limits, preventing new facilities from moving into the city while local leaders consider rules governing their operation. Residents will have an opportunity to share their feedback during tomorrow's meeting at City Hall at 6 p.m. Meanwhile, residents in Morgan County are expected to voice their opposition to a proposed Bitcoin mining facility at tomorrow's Morgan County Commission meeting. Residents say the proposed facility along Union Road would shatter the rural peace they moved to the county to find, bringing with it constant noise, light pollution, and traffic congestion. Several people say they plan to speak during the public comment portion at the beginning of the meeting, which starts at 9 a.m. at the Morgan County Courthouse. First on Fox 54, a group of Heritage Plantation residents are suing their own HOA after their decision to euthanize a flock of geese. The residents' attorney, Angie Ingram, shared documents with Fox 54 that show a temporary restraining order has been filed in an effort to prevent the neighborhood from euthanizing the geese. The attorney alleges the HOA mischaracterized the USDA's guidance and recommendations to control the geese population. They also allege the HOA's decision is a violation of the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. A hearing is scheduled for this Wednesday. The suspect and victim in a shooting in Huntsville last week now identified by authorities. John Pride identified as the victim who was shot. Huntsville police responded to a report of a possible shooting in the 500 block of Lisa Lane around 4 p.m. Friday. When officers arrived, they say they found Pride suffering from a gunshot wound. He was taken to the hospital where he later died from his injuries. Police arrested the suspect, Don Stout Jr., at the scene. And according to investigators, Pride and Stout were involved in an argument that escalated when Stout shot Pride twice. Stout faces a murder charge and is held in the Madison County Jail without bond. HPD also investigating a shooting that left 3 people injured in Hunter's Ridge. Huntsville police responded to a report of a possible shooting in the 4000 block of Hunter's Ridge around midnight last night. When officers arrived, they say they found 2 men suffering from gunshot wounds. Both were taken to the hospital. Officers were later notified that a 3rd man had arrived to a hospital with a gunshot wound. All 3 people expected to survive. Police say evidence suggests an altercation happened before shots were fired, but what led up to the shooting is still under investigation. A Marshall County man charged with manslaughter after a teenager died in a motorcycle crash last year. The Marshall County Sheriff's Office says the investigation stems from a crash between a motorcycle and a car on Pleasant Hill Road near Patterson Drive on August 4th. A teen girl was airlifted to UAB Medical Center where she died from her injuries. Dakota Hammond, pictured here, was arrested and is held in Jackson County Jail on a hold from the Marshall County Sheriff's Office. Officials in Coleman County are offering a $5,000 reward for any information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for vandalizing the historic Logan Junior High School. You can see from these images the extensive damage found inside and outside the school. District Attorney Crocker is now calling for those responsible to come forward on their own. Anyone with information is asked to call the Coleman County Sheriff's Office at 256-734-0342. A Lauderdale County woman says she has to get a new windshield after vandals threw an unknown object at her car from an overpass. While driving home Saturday on County Road 14, Donna Reed saw 2 people on the Natchez Trace Parkway overpass. That's when she says something hit her windshield, causing it to crack and leave a massive indent on the passenger side. The 2 people who are believed to be involved had not yet been identified, and Reed says she's now looking for accountability.
I would say everything you do has consequences, and someone could have really been hurt real bad. And you really don't need to do things like that. I know that sometimes they think it's funny to play tricks, like they think of it as a trick, but it's really a very dangerous thing to do.
Fox 54 has reached out to multiple law enforcement agencies to learn what the legal consequences might be for those involved, but we have not yet heard back. A judge has scheduled a status hearing for a lawsuit challenging whether Republican gubernatorial nominee Tommy Tuberville can appear on Alabama's November ballot. On Wednesday, 2 Alabama veterans filed a lawsuit in Montgomery County arguing Tuberville does not meet the state constitution's 7-year residency requirement for governor. The complaint claims Tuberville's legal residence remained in Florida past the required deadline and cites voting records, property records, and campaign spending as evidence. Plaintiffs are asking a judge to block Tuberville's name from appearing on the general election ballot. The challenge comes after the Alabama Republican Party rejected a similar complaint from primary opponent Ken McPhears after Tuberville provided documents showing he meets the residency requirement. Secretary of State Wes Allen also filed a motion today to throw out the lawsuit entirely, arguing the Montgomery County Court doesn't have the authority to hear the case, and the legal process used by plaintiffs only applies to officials already holding office, not political nominees. The hearing is set for Thursday at 8:30 a.m. at the Montgomery County Courthouse.
Knowing in the beginning how hard it was for us to even learn, the simple things.
A rally for restoration to preserve a historic Somerville school reduced to rubble after a fire earlier this year. Fox 54's Logan Alexandra Russell takes us to Morgan County to hear from former students. The World Cup is closer to home than you think. Sure, the U.S. is a hosting country, but it's something else you may see on the sidelines that's supplied in the USA. We explain. A local piece of Southern history could soon become part of the National Service, offering a glimpse into a system that educated hundreds of thousands of Black students during the Jim Crow era. Lawmakers are championing House Bill 8887 to proactively protect surviving structures, which could protect historic sites, including what's left of the St. John Elementary School in Morgan County. Fox 54's Logan Alexandra Russell shows us how local alumni are fighting to preserve what's left.
It stood for nearly a century in Somerville, but in February, a fire erased almost all of the physical history that was left of St. John Elementary. St. John was part of the historic Rosenwald Schools project, a partnership that built nearly 5,000 schools across the South to advance Black education. Today, only a fraction still survive, often run by volunteers, which is why a new mediated push in Washington is aiming to protect what's left. H.R. 8887 would establish the Julius Rosenwald National Historical Park, designating 3 surviving schools to anchor a multi-state network.
The fact that Representative Claiborne actually, released everything and introduced that bill was liberating to me, because I had been fighting for so long for the Rosenwald project.
Before the 1954 Brown versus Board decision integrated schools, these buildings were beacons of hope. For alumni, protecting this legacy represents an enduring struggle that cannot be forgotten.
Being from historical school, knowing in the beginning how hard it was for us to even learn, the simple things, how we started learning the simple things. And one teacher teaching 6 grades at one time was able to implement that into each child.
While surviving sites look to the National Park Service for future maintenance, the Morgan County community is starting from scratch, recreating the history lost to the flames. One fighting to rebuild from the ashes, the other on the verge of becoming a recognized national treasure. In Somerville, Logan Alexandra Russell, Fox 54 News.
H.R. 8887 has been introduced and referred to the House Committee on Natural Resources as it awaits a hearing. If passed, the network would be the first comprehensive map of surviving Rosenwald sites across the country. Coming up, it's big business for one Tennessee company behind the sideline supply of towels during the World Cup matches. We'll take you to Nashville for a look at the operation. And Emily, we have seen some severe weather today.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of severe weather move across the Tennessee Valley. A lot of damage reports too. I'm going to show you those coming up right after the break, and I'll tell you what you can expect to see heading into the rest of this week. So stay with us.
Lower County 911, what's the address of your emergency pregnancy? Okay, your wife is in a bar, you said she's unresponsive?
This is what he's going to tell you.
How to get out of that situation.
And I grabbed the gun.
Trying to find the first place to put a body.
No, sir. The only thing they could do was kill him.
You want to say anything?
We, the jury, and to find the defendant.
All is quiet now, very quiet, very still after the storm activity we've seen throughout the afternoon. I mean, Emily, you've been on the wall back and forth, just working and really keeping us updated and keeping us safe.
Yeah, and it's kind of what we expected. I mentioned earlier during our tornado coverage that June tornadoes are kind of rare here, but we just had the perfect atmosphere today to prompt those tornado warnings that we saw. But not only did we deal with that, we dealt with a lot of damaging wind reports. So let's go ahead and jump out to those reports. I want to show you just exactly the reports that we've seen so far. We're continuing to get reports in from Jackson County, and we've got a lot of wind reports to the north of Huntsville, so Hazel Green area, Meridian area, lots and lots of damaging wind reports. And of course, we can't forget the western side of the Tennessee Valley. They just didn't see the heaviest of it that we saw across the Tennessee Valley this afternoon. I am expecting these to increase though as the day progresses and we get more and more of those reports come in. So across the Tennessee Valley right now, we are starting to see a little bit of secondary development back behind that main system that has already moved through the Tennessee Valley. So I guess you could call it the main event has moved into Georgia. So we are no longer seeing any severe weather across the Tennessee Valley. I am expecting us to stay that way, but we still need to keep our guards up through the next couple of hours because we could be dealing with some gustier winds and a lot of lightning. A lot of lightning has been associated with these storms today. This is all because we've got this frontal boundary that's basically just parked itself up to the north of the Tennessee Valley, so that will continue to move out of our area, and that will decrease that severe risk that we see for the rest of today. The rain that we saw earlier hopefully has stabilized our atmosphere just a little bit, so we're not expecting to see severe weather for the rest of tonight. Now, we do have a lot of customers without power at the moment. A little over 4,000 here in Madison County without power, 1,000 customers in Jackson County without power as well. We might see those grow. I'm pretty sure those power outage reports are still being reported, so we'll continue to watch that. Now, we still have the severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 7 o'clock this evening. It has been allowed to expire for portions of Mississippi. So if I had to guess, the western side, Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin counties, probably going to be allowed to be dropped from this here within the next few minutes. Here outside, though, looking across the parkway, we're nice and clear. It's a much different story than what we saw earlier this afternoon move through Huntsville. We'll keep a little bit of rain and maybe even a few rumbles of thunder in the forecast for the overnight as that secondary line moves through. But tomorrow we are going to be dry. So we've got a dry day ahead of us, a calm day ahead of us. Temperature is going to warm into the low 80s. Now, temperatures will continue to climb heading into this upcoming weekend. We'll be in the low 90s, but once you factor in that heat index, we're going to be feeling like the hundreds heading into this upcoming weekend. So we've got some heat that we're going to be dealing with next, but those rain chances really going to start to drop off heading into the weekend. So your 7-day forecast looks like this. We'll be sitting in the low 80s tomorrow, gradually warming into the low 90s by this upcoming weekend. And it looks like by about this time next week, we'll be seeing plenty of sunshine. High temperatures still going to be hanging out in the low 90s.
We do have a Fox 54 traffic impact alert for you tonight. A resurfacing project started today on Martin Road between Rideout and Dodd Roads on Redstone Arsenal. At least one lane will remain open at all times. Crews will be working weekdays from around 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. with traffic control personnel helping to minimize disruptions. The project is expected to last about 2 weeks, so plan for possible delays and traffic. For more traffic impact alerts, go to fox54.com. The World Cup has brought big business for people in the U.S., from food to hospitality. But did you ever think about something as simple as the towels players use on the sidelines? Well, a Nashville-based merchandise company is the one behind it. Something Inked is supplying sideline towels for what's being called the largest sporting event in North American history. Vice President of Sales Mike Zagurski says being part of a global stage like the World Cup is a milestone for the company.
I think it's certainly a feather in the cap. I think if you look at Something Inc., it's been around quite a while, and having the ability to do something like this, they're calling it the largest sporting event in North American history. So to be a part of it's great. Seeing your name in a tag or on the bottom of the poster, I think it's pretty special.
Wow, well, the company also creates merchandise for major country music artists, including Morgan Wallen.
Fox 54 Plus has your news, sports, and weather. Start your evening with Fox 54 at 5:30, delivering the latest headlines and live reports straight from the scene. Then stay informed with Fox 54 News at 9, featuring your Tennessee Valley certified most accurate weather impact team, tracking everything from tornado threats to traffic delays during severe weather. Fox 54 Sports Extra brings you more of what sports fans crave, with deeper insights, expert analysis, and all the action that matters most. On Fox 54 Plus, you'll also find Alabama politics, Plus, 24/7 weather radar and real-time forecasts to keep you ahead of the storm. Looking for a quick recap? Don't miss Fox 54 Week in Review, highlighting the biggest stories of the week. Jumpstart your morning with Morning Rush. Fast-paced news updates, featured with uplifting stories from across the globe. Get your entertainment fix with Getting Real, where we break down movie reviews, top 10 lists, and spotlight the newest film. Die Hard fan? Locked On Sports dives deep into the Crimson Tide, the Tigers, college rivalries, and pro action. True crime warrior style? Killer Cases brings you gripping real-life stories that stick with you. Hungry for more? Cooking with Style serves up mouth-watering recipes that are easy to make and impossible to resist. From movie previews before you head to the theater with Take a Look to must-know headlines from across the region and around the world with In the News. Watch all of these shows on demand and also on the Fox 54 News app. Available on Android and iOS devices. Streaming 24/7.
And welcome into sports, everyone. Team USA is off to a 2-0 start at the World Cup, and as they train for Turkey, the home team saw Christian Pulisic return to practice. Pulisic taking part in warm-ups and ball drills today in Irvine, California during the open media period. Now, team officials have not provided an official update on his injury status just yet, but getting the team captain and most dynamic player back involved is a major boost for the Americans as they prepare for Turkey and then the knockout stage. We've seen this team adjust on the fly with alternate starting lineups so far, and it seems that they have no problem playing different lineups if it comes down to what their coaches say.
We're ready to step on the field. If it's players who have been playing more, playing less, I think, like I said, this team's capable of putting so many starting lineups, and everyone's going to play just as well. So, yeah, I think that's more of like a coaching staff choice.
Up next for Team USA is Turkey, and that game will take place inside of SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. Kickoff is set for 9 p.m. this Thursday. You can watch it live on Fox 54. Moving over to college football now, the unofficial starts of the season always begins with media days, and this year the UAC will kick things off in the great state of Texas. Coach Brent Dearman, the UNA Lions, and every other football-playing member in the conference will be asked the hard-hitting questions at Texas Live in Arlington, Texas on July the 21st. The UAC Media Day is making a move back to Arlington after going to Nashville last season. The event will be streamed live on ESPN+. That does for sports at 5:30. I'm Mo Carter.
Coming up tonight at 9, a Lauderdale County woman seeking accountability after she says vandals threw an unknown object at her car. We've got the story. The Madison City Council meets in a few minutes to discuss zoning for short-term rentals, but some residents are concerned. The results of that meeting ahead. And as the World Cup is underway, celebrations and fan fests are happening across the country. We'll take you to Atlanta for turnout. All this and more tonight at 9. Before we let you go, rescuers saved 2 stranded paddleboarders swept out to sea in Florida. Authorities say they spotted the pair trying to use beach umbrella to sail last Tuesday. The Pasco Sheriff's Office shared some of the footage you see here on social media. Thankfully, a team effort by the Sheriff's Office and the Newport Richey Police Department's Marine Unit were able to pull them up and bring them to shore. Well, they're very hard to miss.
So I'm confused. Were they initially using the umbrella to paddle?
I don't know. I just know the umbrella was up and it was colorful. So if anybody wanted to see them, they could.
Brought attention to it, but hey,
it did.
An umbrella will sweep you in the wrong direction if the wind catches it just correctly.
You know what? Maybe they were using it as like a wind sail.
That's true. That could have been, but we'll never know, I guess. Let's get one final check on our 7-day forecast. We do have a little bit of rain left in the forecast for tonight. I do want to talk about that, but heading into the rest of this week, those temperatures, they're going to soar on up there into the low 90s by Friday and will stay that way into this upcoming weekend. We're also going to watch for heat index values reaching the lower 100s heading into this weekend as well. So we're going to be dealing with the heat after this rain.
All right, well, we have more show for you later on tonight at 9. We'll see you then.